In-app purchase is a relatively simple feature with a bit of a hassle from the stores who handle the product management. The API itself is trivial. Before we begin, let's review the basics of what in-app purchase is. In-app purchase allows us to use the same billing support Apple and Google use for buying apps in order to sell items within the app. You can use this to sell virtual goods, which means things that are part of the application, such as digital content, upgrades, in app features, game elements, etc. Using in app purchase is much easier than credit card billing or any other form of payment, as the whole process is managed by Google or Apple. However, it's also a requirement. If you have elements sold within your app, you might get banned if you don't use in app purchase. As an example, we recently updated the kitchen sink demo in the Apple App Store and got a rejection. The tester reviewed the link in the app to codename1.com and complained that we sell items within the site, the subscription, and don't use in app purchase. We explained that the app is completely free and the subscription has nothing to do with the app, and the app passed verification. This should obviously teach you that communication in these cases is bidirectional, and also how serious Apple is about the in app purchase requirement. So, why don't we sell Codename One subscriptions via in app purchase? This is something we are actually considering, but the main demotivation is the 30% commission to Apple. They now have a special case for subscriptions that might make them more financially viable, so we might add that in the future as an option. But overall, in app purchase is expensive. If you are having thoughts about charging extra for in app purchase, for purchases made through in app purchase, that would be a problem as it's prohibited by Apple's terms of service. Let's start by looking at the code for in app purchase. Just like push requires the push callback in the main class, in app purchase requires the callback in the main class too. I'll skip ahead to the callback methods for the purchase. Item purchased is the actual callback method, and it includes the SKU representing the item that was purchased. An SKU is a constant value that you define when you set up the items in Google Play or iTunes Connect. The SKU lets you determine the item that the user purchased when you have more than one item. We are calling into the pending build method in this case to proceed with the purchase flow we started there. I'll go into that soon. We have an error callback as well, which we can use for error logging. The refund callback might be interesting if this is a feature you can disable or refund. But in this case, if a user asks for a refund, there isn't much we can do as the app was already built. The rest of the callbacks relate to subscription and manual purchase callback, which is no longer used. Subscription is a subject in its own right that I won't get into here, but it's a very good direction as it allows a constant and steady stream of revenue. Let's move into the app form code for purchase. The purchase UI shows a dialog with commands for purchasing an iOS, Android, or source code build. For now, we don't support the iOS build, but might provide this in a future update. Based on the command selected by the user, we can select the right target and perform the right purchase type. Once pending build is invoked, it just invokes build app as usual. Since this is invoked by the purchase callback, this is effectively seamless. We could have used the SKU value from the server and called the build app callback with the SKU, which would have worked exactly the same as this. As you can see, the code is pretty trivial. The main hassle is handling this in Google's and Apple's interfaces. In Google Play, after you've uploaded your initial APK, you can select in-app product. We click Add New Product, then select Managed Product, which allows us to add a new product SKU. I type in Build for Android as the SKU. I can use an arbitrary string value to represent the SKU. I type in a name and a description for the item we're selling. This will be displayed to the user as part of the native process by Google Play. The next stage is scrolling down to the price and clicking the Add Price button, so we can enter the price for the item using the local currency. I set the price for 40 NIS, which is mostly a trial and error thing of what Google will generate in terms of the pricing table. Once this is set, I can scroll to the top and save the data, and this in a nutshell is in-app purchase. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this informative.